Welcome to episode 103 of My Best Ex, a podcast by two exes who are besties. Because who better to help you clean up your life problems than someone who's dumped you in the past? I'm Gloria.
Yep. And I'm Zina. And welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. I don't know about y'all, but it's Lent season and...
I grew up Catholic, and so Lent was like a big part of my childhood and what I was going to give up. I gave up sweets. I gave up saying bad words. Yeah. Sweets.
When
you
were a kid,
sweets,
that's what you gave up?
saying
like
bad
candy?
words, talking in class when I wasn't supposed to, all those kinds of things. But now as an adult, I don't know. Are you giving up anything? Are you doing Lent?
Well, yeah, my fiance was also raised Catholic, and so we take certain things from like traditional religion, and then others we don't so much, which I guess everybody does in a way. But but Lent is something that we try to abide by and do. And for the first time this year, I wanted to do something different in that not just did I want to give up stuff that was like tangible stuff that you can see, like food after 8:30 p.m. or alcohol, cocktails, right? But something that was like mental, like, giving up a bad mental habit. And so I thought this year that might be a good experiment. And I'm telling you, I'm not doing great, but I'm trying not to take things personally.
So you gave up for Lent taking things personally?
All of it. Well, just negative emotions. So I picture my negative emotions as, how they would have the angel devil figures on the shoulders, like in the cartoons and Looney Tunes and stuff. And so I picture it as like a little kind of devilish, impish guy. I call him Sammy Davis Jr.
Hold on. We can't you call the little devil on your shoulder Sammy Davis Jr., a black icon? We'll talk about this later. I vehemently disagree. So anyway,
okay, potato.
That's your negative guy, Sammy.
So Sammy D, little black leprechaunish, slightly, like a little bit. No, okay. Sammy D, he is my little devil that sits on my shoulder, and he whispers to me, a lot, and like. I was like, I am giving up Sammy D. I am putting baby in a corner, and we are not doing this for 40 days. And so I've really been, but Sammy D falls under the umbrella of taking things personally. Sammy D's always whispering in my ear, "Oh, she did that because she don't like you." Like he whispers stuff like that, right? And a lot of stuff is like to me taking things personally. So I've really specifically honing in on that specific negative thought. That can apply to my career. It can apply to my personal life here at home. It's like this umbrella that if you can beat that, like it's good stuff. It's a lot of healing. It can solve a lot of issues if you can beat that. So well, that's what I'm working on.
Good luck to you and Lil Black Sammy. I'm not giving up anything. I'm trying. This sounds like so middle-aged, and I hear myself when I say it. I'm trying to take more fiber in. I'm trying to take in.
Wait. Hold on. No, we're not. So you don't have the equivalent of a Sammy.
A little black guy on my shoulder whispering negative things to me? No, absolutely not.
No, but just what you would name yours, like negative thoughts, like your version of that.
I don't have negative thoughts about like what other people may be doing or saying or thinking about me. Not at all. I have things like I might worry about the world. But I can't put that on Little Black Sammy.
No, but you don't ever have a meeting or something and you feel like you caught a vibe or a friend didn't call you back or like any situation like with an agent.
I'm sure I have at some point taken some things personally, but I very rarely take things personally. And my dad said most people aren't thinking about you. So I believe him when he told me that. They're not thinking about me. So I'm not worried about them. But for my Lent, I am taking in more fiber. I need to take in greater than 25 grams of fiber a day. That's what I'm doing for Lent. I'm not giving up. I'm taking in. This is going to be my new habit.
I love it. To each his own. Yeah. So you're not giving up, you're taking in, which is...
And also with Lent, if you miss a day, you could just add it on in the back end.
Yeah. So you have a lot of fiber going on right now.
25 grams or more. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
That's a lot of fiber.
Yeah.
That's good though. I love that.
Yeah. So if I miss a day, I'll just add it on later. It's
amazing. And I love that like you don't have a Sammy Davis Jr. and you really don't take things personally. I think that's great. And you always say to me, I feel like when I call you sometimes and my Sammy Davis Jr. is on 10, you're like, you say, Z, you got to keep your vibration high. It's all about keeping that vibration high. So like you are a person who that's your kind of life mantra, keeping your vibration high during like when, during times that are difficult. or stressful. And so how do you just go about keeping your vibration high?
I do work to try. I'm very deliberate about it. It's probably very annoying to my mother. I know sometimes she wants to talk to me about political stuff and I'm nope, nope, not nope, nope, not nope, 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 not, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very committed to being very about what I'm taking in. So in the morning, I try not to look at my phone until I've already started my day and I've gotten in my own lane. When I'm just with myself, chilling and cruising with my dogs, my garden, my lane, I love my lane. So I get in, I listen to my music in the morning. I have my tea. I started making this tea with burdock root. Anyway, I started making my own tea. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll send you the recipe if you want it. It's supposed to be a very cleansing tea. It's neither here nor there. So anyway,
that sounds like a witch's
yeah,
brew.
I do try to get in my own lane in the morning with my music. I do my journaling. I play with my dogs. I go outside first thing in the morning. It's raining here, so I'm not doing that right now. But I do try very hard to like at least start my day off with good vibes.
I really admire that about you. And that's why you're one of my friends that I call when I find myself wanting to hide and go into my cocoon. Because I think a lot of times some people, instead of reaching out to talk to people or find someone, to kind of like help them through it, they tend to, like I do, they tend to go inside, right? So whether it's physically like go inside and not kind of come out and stop going out with your friends and stop taking calls and just like binging Love is Blind, that's a version of going inward, or just isolating within yourself, right? And just being very like whatever it is, it's like not the most healthy thing to do, to like isolate and withdraw from the world and from people you love when you're feeling that way. And oftentimes it's a protective mechanism. I was reading this book that I sent to you, Glow, because it talked about this book that because in the morning, I like to meditate. I have kind of like a 30-minute spiritual practice that I do before I start my day. And it involves reading certain books and meditating. And
that's setting your vibe, by the way. That's getting your vibe
one
up.
Of the books
that
I'm
is,
reading,
you're doing that. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Getting the vibe up. So I was reading this book called The Sunshine Mind, talked about the importance of, reaching out to people, finding someone that you can reach out to when you feel overwhelmed and you feel overwhelmed by the state of the world. That's very understandable right now. And to feel like it's so much easier just to stay in the house, have a glass of wine and watch Love is Blind and just not deal with anything. I feel like a lot of people are probably going through that right now, but it just talked about the importance of, even if you can just have one person in your life, one friend, one family member, and you're my best friends. And so you're often that person that I reach out to when I feel like I feel myself going into self-isolation and going into my cocoon. It's just the importance of having a close friend that can help coax you out of your cave, you can process with, and they can also give you a fresh perspective.
I think there's that. And I think there's a certain amount of isolating that happens depending on what's going on in your life, right? I think it can be seasonal, So when I first had my breakup, I definitely felt like I was isolating because I also felt like I needed to kind of turn in and I needed to take care of myself. And I didn't want to risk kind of like going out into the world when I felt like I was so fragile, So I was like, I don't need to be out there. I need to isolate for a second. But I also think, do you feel like there's a difference between isolating and solitude? Because for me, I feel like there's a big difference between those two.
Yeah, I feel like
Yes.
Yeah, it's the intention behind it. Isolating feels like it has a different intention, like keep out, stay away, I can't deal with this, that kind of thing. And the other, solitude, it feels like that comes from an intention of taking
and so
care of
I think
yourself.
I think there are times when you can isolate, but I think it can move into solitude. And I think that's what I try to do because I love solitude. I require a lot of time by myself. I'm just a lesbian in hiding somewhere, but I just really like to take care of myself. And I also find in solitude for me, I'm creative in solitude. I'm more in touch spiritually when I have my solitude. And I just think of it as a way of just like enjoying my own company, Are there things that you do in solitude that you feel like you enjoy?
Well, I think in solitude, yes. Like I say, I do my spiritual time in solitude and in silence, because in silence is where you can kind of figure things out and like figure out like the answers to questions you may have or things you're wrestling with and all that. And having time to just think and solitude. I mean, I exercise in solitude, I'll run on the treadmill alone, I'll do that by myself, and I love reading all kinds of books, not just like spiritual
Yeah.
books, but also like novels and stuff like that, and memoirs. I love that. But I can definitely tell the difference between when I'm in
Yeah.
solitude and when I'm isolating myself and kind of blocking, because my parents will try to call, and I'll send them
No,
straight to
not
voicemail
you
because I
sending
just
Lou and
don't feel
Lanthan
like I
the
have anything
voicemail.
good.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, because I don't think it's not them, but that's what I'm saying. It's because I don't feel like I have
Oh,
anything worthy of
yeah.
them to be proud of to tell them. Like I don't have good news to tell them. Do you know what I mean? So it's like because I'm in
Right.
that state of feeling negative, Sammy D has got to me, right? So I'm like,
Is
Glow
that why
calls,
you
I
be
send her the
sending me the
voicemail. My
voicemail?
parents
I
call, I
never
send her the
understood. I was like,
voicemail. And I just kind of like the energy of it
yeah,
is isolation and pushing away as opposed to solitude and being open and listening and taking
right.
care of myself. It's two very different things. And by the way, my parents listen to this podcast. I'm so
Well,
sorry. I know they
don't,
just heard
you're
this.
not alone. Apparently, I get
I
sent to
love you guys.
voicemail too. So there's a whole slew of us. I get that. And I think there's probably some way
Mm-hmm.
to get out of the isolation by turning the this is like I'm making this up. It's not science. But there might be some way to
I
turn
love
that
it.
isolation into um to make the best of that time alone. So instead of little black Sammy who's being
Mm-hmm.
negative and talking about you, maybe when you're feeling that way, maybe instead it's
Yeah.
you do something that does make you feel good in solitude. So reaching out to others is great too, but also like doing
Mm-hmm.
things for yourself. At one point, I think it was the book Artist's Way or something I'd read where I like made a list of things that I like, things that feel good to me. And so whenever, I might have that neg feeling or I might not be feeling good, and it's not even trying to be toxically positive either. It's just I want to go for the next best
Mm-hmm.
feeling. And so I might look at my list and be like,
Mm-hmm.
Gloria, take your ass outside, walk around barefoot in the grass. That's going to make you feel better. And, like, or like your jams, like,
Mm-hmm. But the antithesis to Sammy Davis Jr. is gratitude. Like just stopping and saying what you're grateful for, right? What is working? What do I have? Like right in front of me in the present moment, what am I grateful for? I feel like that's a way to just shut him up. Like if gratitude is Beyonce and Sammy Davis Jr. is the other, and then Beyonce's just saying, Sammy, I'm not gonna let you go there because we grateful, honey. We
okay. All right.
grateful.
Well, if you have to sing Sammy down, then that's what you do. But I do think,
I'm just
yeah,
saying, it helps me to think of
yeah.
them as characters
I think
because
that's
I don't know, it's funny to
that's
me.
random but cute. I like that the angel is Beyonce
Mm-hmm.
and talking directly to little Sammy,
Mm-hmm.
telling him, "Sammy, I'm grateful for this. Sammy, I mean,
Yeah.
like you're gonna look batty, 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 but it might
Mm-hmm.
be a good.
Well, I don't
You
do
would
this on the
not be the
subway
only
train. I mean, I'm
person
talking about
doing
this
this
is
on the
like
subway
something that
train.
I
If
do
you
in my
did this
head.
on the train, you will not be the only person talking to yourself on the train."
Anyway, but like it's also important to find
Yeah,
community, right? As well, like the opposite of solitude, but to also try to get out and, like you said, like vibe with other people. And I think that for me, it's been hard. Also, why I've been kind of more isolating and more having more solitude is because
mm,
having recently moved to New York, I feel like it's been really hard to find a community and make friends when you're in your 40s. It's hard because I feel like
yeah.
everybody has like their friend groups from college or from work. People are parents. I'm a parent too. I'm a stepmom, but the girls are older and like, it's different. There are a lot of people who have little kids and they kind of form like mommy and me
Yeah.
groups and all of these things. And I haven't really, I
Step
haven't
mommy
really
and me
found
group.
my
Yeah.
my
Uh-huh.
tribe in that way. And it's
Yeah.
hard. It's different now, right? Because a lot of people meet people online and people don't know how to talk to one another in the same way that they used to be. And everything's on social media. I think it's also
Yeah.
important though to find community. It really is. I mean, because I think both are important. I think it's important to be able to be alone and kind of refuel and re-energize through
Yeah.
solitude, what they call introverts, right? Glow, you're an introvert. You get your goods by being alone and doing the things you need to do to kind of refuel. And I would say what is the
I think
introvert
I'm actually
extrovert? Is there
both,
one
but
that's
yeah, I think
both
it's
kind of
intro extra. Like when I'm out, but when I'm in, I'm like in.
intro extra?
Mhm.
You're in. Yeah. So I think I also need, it's a yes and, like
Mhm.
I also need the community as well. And I think having moved to New York recently, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge because when you're in your 40s, it feels like people have found their groups. They've found their people. They're either bonding over being parents and having kids, or they're bonding over they went to college together or have work relationships that they have.
Maybe doing the things that you like to do. You like going to plays, so maybe go to plays, or you're not drinking right now, so you can't go to bars, but or go shoot around your basketball things, go around there, just shoot around and hoops and stuff like that. People might be doing
Okay.
that. You know
No,
what I'm saying? Like with
not
the
hoops.
yes, hoops, that's with the basketballs.
Why are there two? Why is it
Would
plural?
you
Why the hoops with the basketballs? Why are there two basketballs? You keep saying basketballs. There's
Well,
just
if
one
other
ball and
people
you
are
shoot it
playing,
into
maybe they
one
have
hoop.
their own balls. You're shooting around the hoops. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you go and you shoot around the hoops with people and you meet people there. I resent the way that you're looking at me
Maybe.
when I'm talking
Yeah.
about the sports.
And what do athletes wear when they're shooting around the
Their
hoops? What is
costumes?
that called? What athletes wear? Point taken. Point taken. Okay. So yes, maybe I could shoot around the hoops or whatever, but it's different, Glow. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's things have changed in terms to each other, and I think social media has made a like really changed society in terms of like having personal conversations one on one or
Mhm.
even whatever, like meeting people and actually talking to them in person and going up to someone and introducing yourself or whatever, have
Would you
taking that risk to
would you
like
do
fall on
that
your
though?
face and
Would
like
you go up to a stranger and
actually
have a
talk to people.
conversation with them?
I have before. I mean, if like for instance,
Oh,
if I'm out with Simon, my dog, and I've gone out and like someone is with their dog, I will use the
okay.
dogs as an
Okay. Yeah.
excuse to make conversation. Yes,
Yeah.
like, oh, how old's your dog? Oh, hi. Like
Right.
that's a nice bridge to have a conversation. But still people aren't even used to that. I think people get
When a
alarmed
stranger's talking to them.
when
Yeah.
it's
No, yeah.
yeah, which makes sense, but it's like even just meeting people. I don't think people really know how to talk to one another in that way anymore. It's
Yeah.
everybody's doing it
Oof,
online,
yeah.
right? Dating's online, all these things. And so it's like people are used to texting. Texting is
I
huge.
can't
Most people
yeah, I
just
can't do it.
love texting. They just want to text,
Yeah.
right? And not pick up the
Yeah.
phone and have an actual conversation. So it's like
Right.
imagine trying to meet someone in person, let alone pick up the phone and talk to some people. Don't want to even talk on
Right.
the
I
phone
can't do
anymore.
that.
They
My
just want
neck
to do
doesn't
this
like
and text.
texting. Yeah.
So it's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard to like. It's that awkward moment because I went to
Mhm.
an event for WGA for the Writers Guild over the holidays, and there were all these people there, and they were in their groups of probably their fellow writers from the
Mm.
writers' rooms they were in and stuff like that. Everybody was kind of grouped up, and there was this one writer that was like sitting by herself, and my fiance was like,
Go
go,
make a
go, go,
friend.
go
Go
say
make a
something.
friend.
He's by herself, go make a friend, go make a friend. And it was just
Yeah.
like junior high all over again. It's like you're 13 years old and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna humiliate myself. So it was awkward, but
Yeah.
I went over and I sat, she was by herself. So I sat down and I said, oh, I made some comment, some like um, thing about maybe a joke or something to break the ice. And, she laughed and
Right.
she started talking to me. But it took the
Yeah.
courage of me going over and breaking the ice. And it took her being open to not be like, oh, you're crazy, to actually like open
Yeah.
up herself and talk to me back. But it's odd now. It's awkward. That's not
So
how
then maybe
most
you
of
got to
us
do the thing. Maybe you got to lean
make
into where we
friends,
are with technology.
which is what I did. I was on Instagram and I was scrolling and I happened to see, I think our phones just hear us because
Yeah.
I was talking about this and I
You didn't
like
happen
that
to
later
see
that evening I
nothing.
happened
You
to see
didn't
an
happen to
app.
see nothing. They made sure they got your number. Yeah.
They made sure I saw it. But it's an app for like making friends. It's specifically for
Okay.
matching you with friends, with other people that share your interest. And I was like, oh, let
Uh-huh.
me click on this and see what's going on here. And I clicked on it and then it was like basically a dating app. I was like, oh, I have to set up a profile. I have to like answer these questions that feel really, I don't know, it was just weird. And then it asked me this question like, do you want your friends to be basically just like you? Like, do you want friends that kind of like
Oh.
you and or are you open to making friends kind of like outside of like your how you identify or whatever? And I was
So
like, oh, that's
do
really
you want
interesting.
like a
They
do you
asked
want a
that.
friend
Like,
that's like
it's not
Nancy from
just
HR, or do you want like what kind of
yeah, basically after you fill it, yeah, it's like, so I put like, oh, I'm queer, I'm black, I'm in the arts, right? Um, I like nature, I like to go for walks, I like to go to restaurants and try different
yeah,
foods. Like they ask you these questions about like what kind of vibes you have, and then at the end they
people,
say, okay, basically, do you want
or do
just
you
other
want like
queer
a
black friends,
yeah,
or are you open to whoever we pair
yeah.
you with, like Nancy or Mike? I don't know. I was like, for a second, I almost thought about it. Like, well, what do I want? Like, does it feel safer and like I would just have naturally have more in common than people just like me, but who share those kind of same basic things? Or would it be like interesting to be really
Yeah.
open and see who I get matched with that is totally different from me, and we might share, we're all human, right? Who might also like to watch
You know what?
Succession.
For the sake of this and this being an experiment, I think you should really try this. And I think you should see what happens if you're open to people who are not like you. That's what I want you to try first. This is an experiment. Think of it like that. And then you can meet
Yeah.
Nancy's and you
Mm-hmm.
can meet Mike's and, Seth's and see where
Yeah.
that takes you. And then if you're like, they're like
Yeah.
white lives matter too, and all lives, and then you can be like, okay, no, 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 no. And then you can narrow it back down to like people like you. But I think you'll find Seth's
Yeah. No, I
and
think that's fair.
Hannah's and Nancy's and stuff out there that you will have things in common with.
But like, what would my bio look like? Like, what do you think would be in my bio of
What
like
you're looking
what
for
I'm?
in a friend?
Do you know what I mean? What? Yeah.
Um,
Because I feel like for you it would have to be like likes to
yeah, yeah,
garden, has dogs, doesn't eat chicken in front of
yeah,
white
I
people,
guess.
addicted to probiotics, knows what the word guasha means. Like these are the things that I
Uh,
feel like would be in yours, but I don't really know what to put in mine.
I think
What do you feel like my
it'd be good
bio
for
would
you to
look
have
like?
friends who are patient, who are kind, who
Mm-hmm.
are not
Mm-hmm.
time sensitive, who like dogs.
Wait. Wait.
Yes.
I feel like when you say I need a friend who's patient and who is not time sensitive, you're saying that someone needs patience because I'm a lot, maybe a little bit of a lot, and then not time sensitive because you're saying I run on CPT time.
Well, I'm just
That's
trying
what
to
I'm
think
feeling
of
like
like
is
things that
happening.
would match well and that would like make things easy
Mm-hmm.
and play sports,
Mm-hmm.
basketball.
Okay.
Don't take it
I'm trying not
personally.
to take it
Exactly. That's
personally.
right. Don't take it
That's my
personally.
Lent.
I'm trying to
That's my
find people
Lent.
that would compliment you. So
Mm-hmm.
kind, patient, not time
Yeah.
sensitive people who likes dogs and likes
Mm-hmm.
basketball and who likes musical theater, who could do karaoke, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
could
true. That's true. And Mike could like
that's
all
right.
those things. Mike could
Seth could
like
like
all of
all
those
that too.
things. Basketballs.
Mhm.
Mike could like
Yep.
karaoke. All of it.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I think you
that's
got to
true.
do this. You got to set
Okay.
up this profile and, make you some New York friends. New York is full of all kinds of people. So, let's see
Mm-hmm.
let's see what happens. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited. Let me know if you want help filling out your friend profile or if you need a reference or something for that. I could give you that. A friend reference. All right.
But like what? Okay. So maybe I will do this. But it's like I think I would need to think about like the questions for me were just boring and they were just like basic and I just found them frustrating.
What
And
kind
it's
well
like
what kind of
I
okay,
just
what would
wish I
you
could
want to
change the
ask?
questions they
Like
have.
if you were going to do a friendship app, like what questions would you ask? I'm going to think of okay, I'll start. I would want to ask, are they gluten intolerant
Mm-hmm.
or are they against dairy? Because I would love to have friends that have the same neurotic nutrition problems that I have. So I would say, are you lactose intolerant? Are you gluten free? So that we can eat each other's
Okay.
food.
That's
Okay.
fair. Okay.
All right.
Love. I would say just to gauge humor and age, like are we in the same like age bracket in terms of interest and like stuff like that? I'd say what were your
Okay.
favorite sitcoms as a kid? Like is it like Cosby Show and Different World
Mm,
and Cheers
yeah.
and do you know what I mean? Or is it I don't know, like what's another
Miami
one that'd be
Vice,
later?
Magnum
Like
PI,
that would
Punky
make the
Brewster.
no, like early. Those are all good. I'm saying earlier, like more
Oh,
recent sitcoms that they would answer. Like
Raven's
they
House.
would be
That'd be
like,
younger. Cheetah Girls.
like, like that's like Friends. Well, Friends is yeah, like maybe Friends is
Yeah.
like more of a millennial favorite sitcom. I don't know. What are some like anyway favorite sitcoms as a
Yeah.
kid could be a good gauge on humor and kind of age range, and then like uh maybe books or no books or like books or audible. Like I like reading books because I like feeling them in my hand and I like to smell the pages and I like
But
to
do
like
you really want people
tangibly hold a
knowing that you're
book
walking around
and it's
smelling
not
books?
judging.
Do you want that for yourself? Like, you want other book smellers?
That might be the
Seth, the
perfect
book
friend, a
smeller?
friend who also
Okay.
smells
All
books.
right.
No.
We could ask,
I love
like,
it.
if we
I
can
love it.
gauge their musical theater, we can be like, are you a Glenda or are you an Alphabet? We could gauge them by like what they listen to or what they like with musical theater. That's going to tell you.
I love that. That's a great one. Or like my share, I love the Peanuts. Love me some Peanuts. So I could, one of my questions could
And
be,
if they're like
what Peanut
Peppermint Patty,
character
you're
would you
like
be? That
lesbian.
would say a lot,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. Because
Ooh, look
she
at those
is
shoes. Yeah.
lesbian
Or
numero uno
I
in
would
the
like to
Peanuts.
know. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So like, no. So yeah. So what Peanut character are you and why?
Yeah.
What Peanut
That's a
character are you
good,
and
I
why?
would probably say I was.
So yeah, what Peanut character are
Mhm.
you and why? That could be a question. What are
I
you, girl? What
probably,
Peanut character would you be?
I don't know. I'm a mix. I'm a mix. I'm Frank. Yeah, I'm Franklin because I
Ooh, a
grew up as like
mix.
the only black child. So with a bunch of white kids dancing around me. So that, and then I also like his sister. What was her name? I'm like kind of
Oh,
like
Sally.
A Sally Franklin mix. Yeah,
Sally Franklin
you would
combo. I
be.
love that. That's great. Okay.
Yeah, you'd be Peppermint
My
Patty.
sweatshirt. I'd be who's on
Come
my
on,
sweatshirt.
Chuck.
I'd be
Yeah.
Peppermint Patty. Definitely Peppermint Patty. Come on, Chuck. Yeah, that's so me. Um, yeah. So yeah, those are some examples of.
So maybe.
Those are some.
So,
Those are some examples of good
yeah.
questions
So
to be
here's what I
on our
think.
friendship
Then
app.
I think you should. We've got a plan. I'm very excited about this. You fill out the app that you have. You get paired with people, and then when you guys go for coffee, you ask them these questions that we have.
Yeah.
So you ask them about Glenda, Alphaba. You ask them about what Peanut's character, and then you can, because that can kind of gauge whether or not this friendship can go further.
You don't think these questions will turn someone off?
Are they? Like... Well, then they're not your friend. Then they're not your friend.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just like a lot. Can you imagine like going out with someone for the first time and off a friend app, and they're like, "Which Peanuts character are you?" Like, I don't know. I mean, that's me, I guess. I'm kind of like a.
So there you go.
It might be like, I don't know. I don't know. I might just want to stay.
Okay, we're not now. You're going back. You're back.
Now we're back to the beginning. Full circle.
Oh God.
I'm back in my cocoon.
Well, hopefully you do that. And if you are a person who's also trying to make friends, I think part of it is you do have to put yourself out there. You gotta